Hello everyone and welcome to World Monologue Games. You are watching the global finals of our 2021 season and this is the endurance category. My name is Pete Malicki. I am the creator of World Monologue Games and your host. So a little bit about this event. The endurance category is for monologues that run for 5 to 10 minutes. We have just come out of our regional finals. We had 27 shows and 350 performers from 51 countries. Gosh, I'm getting my stats confused. It's been a long year. And we have 6 different categories at the games. So we have just had the sprint global finals. That's 45 to 60 second monologues. And now we're going well in the other direction with the endurance 5 to 10 minute pieces. As our viewers, you get to vote and help determine who ends up on the podium at the games, our bronze, silver and gold medal winners. I will come back on at the end of the event and let you know more about how the voting works. You can't vote yet because you haven't seen the performances. Voting is going to be open for 48 hours from the end of this broadcast, and I'll come back on, as I said, and explain how that's done. If you want to support the performers, the best way you can do that is by just clicking the like button and subscribing. That helps us with the algorithm. It helps YouTube show it to more people. And leave a chat message if you're watching live or a comment if you're watching afterwards. All of that stuff is really, really useful. There is some very strong language and adult themes in this show, so please brace yourself if you are sensitive to any particular kind of content. Be warned that you might see something that makes you uncomfortable tonight. And you, or what else was I going to say? No, lost my thread, so I'm just going to move on immediately. I am going to play a pre-recorded message from our wonderful ambassador Chen Tang. Chen is a Hollywood actor who's just been in a movie or several movies and TV series, and he's a wonderful dude. He was actually our global champion in the main professional category last year, and he's back this year as ambassador. I'm going to play a few pre-recorded words from Chen, and then it's over to our endurance global performers. So without further fuss from myself, here it is. Please, guys, I hope you enjoy the World Monologue Games 2021 Global Finals Endurance category.
What is up, everyone? This is Chen Tang here, and now you are watching the Global Finals of the World Monologue Games Endurance category. Now, these are the best performers in the entire world for the 5 to 10 minute monologue category. So sit back, kick up your feet, have a bottle of wine or two, and enjoy the show.
World Monologue Games.
In the World Monologue Games, finally.
Global finals of the World Monologue Games.
The World Monologue Games 2021.
It's probably hard for you to get a sense of what it's like on the ground. Panjwai, it's where we've taken the bulk of our casualties. Yeah, Canadians. We lost a guy the first day, so that set the tone. There were a couple of villages all pretty close by the camp. We were trying to build relationships there. No, we weren't peacekeeping. If you're peacekeeping, you're trying to keep 2 hostile groups from fighting each other. In Afghanistan, we're one of the 2 hostile groups. The Taliban? No, mostly we didn't see them. We'd see a flash, see movement in a tree line. Yeah, and they get so close to us, they could kill one of my guys, walk with his weapon, and we still hadn't fucking seen them? Oh yeah. There's not a second you're out there that you're not thinking. They are not kidding. They're not fucking around out there. We're at war. Listen, we're trying to stabilize that country. We were there to provide security, get those people some human rights. Why is that funny? I don't know, why is that funny? We were trying to help those people. Well, what are you doing with your life that anyone's going to remember in 45 minutes? The night before the join-up. Why do you give a shit about the night before the join-up? You just trying to get me talking? Night for the op, couldn't fucking sit still. I played a little poker to try and blow off some steam. I shouldn't have been playing poker that night. It was stupid. I lost. I lost that game. Then I went over the orders. Yeah, Zaif. Yeah, the Afghan National Army commander, that's Zaif. Yeah, he's used some colorful tactics in the past, so have the Taliban, but I plan to hold his hand the whole way. Look, we want to go home. They want us to go home. That means we cooperate with Afghan authorities, in this case the ANA, so there's someone to hand the country back over to. That is, other than the Taliban, take your fucking pick. Day of the join-up, I had this one thing running in my head. This one thing always runs in my head. I want to do right by my guys. I'm responsible for them, for their lives. That's on me. That's the main thing. I want to do right by them. Now, the combat we saw that day was the most effective resistance we've met with so far in Panjwai. First of all, one of the things we rely on is the Taliban don't know how to fire their weapons. I don't know why. They think weapons fire themselves. On the join-up, the Taliban were not only firing accurately, but they had a couple of snipers with them. Nearly 50-degree heat, low on water, low on ammo, low air support. I mean, we're taking massive contact from an unknown number of enemy combatants. And then there was the suicide bomber. Worst thing is there's so much guts from the kid who's just blowing himself up. You don't even know how badly your own soldier's been hit. It was, yeah, a mess. Okay, who the fuck's on comms? Is that Saeed? No, get off comms! Where the fuck's the chopper? I'm gonna fucking rape them! Where the fuck are they? No, where the fuck are they? Get on with Zero and tell him I'm gonna fucking rape them dead! Where the fuck are they? I have a guy down! What are you doing? Get off with Saeed and get on with... Oh fuck, give me that! We had 2 soldiers down. We're waiting on the chopper to extract. The chopper's taking its time. I've lost guys before, and we all have feelings. Zaif's on comms. He's saying, let's move in there. It's a join-up. We can't. We have a man down. There's no fucking way I'm going to move until the chopper's extracted my guys. I said, go ahead. You assault the compound. We'll secure the perimeter. I don't know. It's his fucking country. I'm supposed to what? Get on comms, brief him on the Geneva Convention? Zaif assaulted the compound, fought the Taliban down into this... It was a mud tunnel, like a bunker. Zaif didn't want to follow the Taliban in, but he's not stupid, and what? Let them bomb the shit out of him at close quarters? So he blocked the exit. It was this hole in the ground. Blocked that, then he pumped water. He pumped water into the bunker. He could only pump the water in so fast. From what he told us, it took about an hour for all the Taliban to drown. Sure, yeah, I heard yelling. I heard yelling. You hear that in combat. No, I didn't know what it was. No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. No, I don't sleep at night. The Taliban rig bombs to children. I still see that shit all the time. I'm gonna go home to my crappy apartment and see that shit. And you know what? Listen, Zaif's tactics, I don't like it either. That's not the kind of combat I like. It's disgraceful. But on the plus side, we saw heavy fire, and there were only 2 injuries to my guys the day of the join up. 3, if you count my knee. I blew out my knee. I fell through ice one time. Ran across the canal in Ottawa in April. When would I have gone into shock? Huh. That's if the water's cold. And if the water's not cold, yeah, it didn't sound like they... I got cornered. Yeah, I got a little pissed off, cornered, and I did something stupid. Hey, this is war.
That you do not recognize me by my name is but the first of my complaints about my tale. Or you know me, all right. I am the main character in a tale titled with the name of one of the men in the story. But what is in a name? A lot. Especially if it's a man's name. This man's name is the answer to the question upon which rests the fate of myself and my newborn child. So it is very powerful. It is very important. My name, apparently, is not. Nor is my life. For if it is to be filled with joy and delight from being with my newborn, or with grief and loss from separation, is to be decided by a mere guessing game. Now my words important. I denied my father's boast. I told the king I most definitely could not spin gold out of straw, but he did not believe me. Of course he did not. He chose instead to listen to the words of an egotistic, immature, vain man. And I suffer the consequences. The consequences that I pay for my father's ridiculous lie. I lose my sanity, my freedom, and my dignity for 3 nights. And almost my child. Forever. And one sentence, the whole tale is devoted to this one choice. The decision to give up my child in exchange for my life. And because I was successful, I was rewarded with marriage to the king. And thus, for all intents and purposes, I also lost my life. Can you imagine what it is like to be married, legally bound, socioeconomically bound, with little option but to make the best out of it? To a man who would not believe me. A man so greedy, he told me 3 nights in a row that he would kill me unless I did what he wanted. And that was before he owned me. But as the tale goes, I am shrewd and I am clever, and I've learned the importance of a threat. I've learned the importance of a name, especially if it's male. Proud fathers, so eager to pass it on, but royal ones. Dear husband, aging highness, tell me, what would happen to your precious lineage if my... Sorry. Your son was to suddenly from not dead, and I am living still.
Look, let's have dinner. Let's just... Yeah, I'm fine. You know what? I did. I thought about what you said. And I think just taking a month or 2 off, and... Yes, I felt better after. It was just a lot of pressure. I know, we've been trying for so long, and I just let it get to me. I'm so sorry about everything. Let's just catch up. Let's just have dinner. Let's sit down and forget about it. We won't even bring it up. Yeah, I'm just on my lunch break. Yeah, I've got to go back to work. I'll make the reservations. Yeah, somewhere nice, you know? Really take our mind off it. I promise. We'll be fine. Okay, I love you too. Okay, bye. Fuck. Hey, so I'm pregnant. Yes, I did 2 tests. Yes, we're having a baby. Yeah, come on, girl. You can do it too, you know? Did I what? Yeah. The blue bag. Yeah. The what? Yeah. Yeah. To pee on the new C2 lines. Yeah, I'm here. 2 lines and you're ovulating. Yeah, of course you and Mark have been trying just as long. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Next time, yeah. Well, babe, like, no, I'm fine. You know, there's always next month. Yeah, of course. Look, I've got to go back to work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me. Yeah. Yeah, what a fuck up, hey? Yeah, I didn't know you had the ovulation test. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to go. Yeah. So glad I didn't say anything to anyone. Yeah, sure, babe. I love you too. Talk to you later. Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, let's all catch up. Yeah, for dinner or something. Yeah, of course. Okay, I love you. Bye. Oh, fuck. Oh. Hi, yes. No, it's totally fine. I'm happy to wait. Yes. I was wondering if you had a table for 2 for tonight. 7:30? Yeah, that's great. Sure. Evans? Yes, thanks. Hi, yes. The usual table is fine, thanks. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll see you then. Okay. Thank you, bye.
It's in the eyes. I have the ability to read the shimmers and flickers. Most animals communicate with them. Or the windows of one's soul, as some might say. I'm not one of them, no. I've been schooled the scientific way. Science makes sense. It's logical. It's easy. Whereas Nick, I know Nick blames me. He's not said anything, but I know. He must have the wrong end of a stick that night. Well, to be fair, that morning. It started that morning. Javier came down to the kitchen whilst I was making tea just for me. The guys mostly keep themselves to themselves. And Jav starts tinkering away doing, I don't know, whatever. I wasn't really paying any attention. But as I sat there to drink my tea, I became aware that he kept quietly coughing ever so slightly, like clearing the throat. Well, I'm not the best morning person. I generally like my mornings to start with just me and well-brewed green tea. This was not going to be one of those mornings. Javier kept interrupting my thoughts with this cough as if to say something, but never did. It pissed me off. So I mutter or say something, I don't know what, just reactionary. I booked the day off to help you, was his response. Oh, now he has my full attention. The day is a Saturday. I had uncharacteristically closed the practice because I had my parents coming over later. Oh yes, it's a big thing. I have an awful lot to live up to when it comes to my parents. So me having them over was just being, I don't know, nice. Anyway, I can be rather resourceful when I want to be, so I decided to cheat a little. I asked Jav if he'd bring home a dessert from the Black Fig where he works. Did I mention that he's a pastry chef? At a Michelin-star restaurant. Well, that had to impress Mummy and Daddy, no? Anyway, he agreed, which was great, but I never asked him to help out with the rest of the cooking. For Jav is probably one of the most, if not the most passionate person I know when it comes to his job. Not just his job. He's just a genuinely intrinsic, passionate being about most things, and with the biggest of hearts. So, booking a day off to help me, his tetchy landlady. Well, it all went kind of quiet, heavy quiet, like lying under a duvet. You're aware the world is going on around you. You recognise familiar sounds, but they're just compressed sound waves, no clarity. I was aware I was sitting there with my cup of tea, staring at Jav, yet it all felt very weird. Jav would never book a Saturday off, yet he had, to help me. You know, that day, I can only describe as fun. Really good fun. Being a Saturday, Nick was out working, so it was just Jav and I in the house, and we chopped, sliced, diced, sipped, sang, swayed, giggled, glanced, and gazed. Wow. You know those dreams, the ones where you're walking along a cliff and you suddenly fall off the edge? Yeah, that's that, the exact lurching of the stomach. An involuntary reaction, completely out of your control, even though it's your body, the one you should be in control of. Do you know, I can't stand it. Or maybe I can't understand it. Do you know, I don't know which. I don't honestly care. I just know it happened now. Like that Saturday. But today, no fizz. So dinner. Dinner was prepared well in advance, and I began laying the table, which was when the thought struck me. Oh, for heaven's sake, it would have been rude not to, even by my standards. So I insisted Javier join my parents and I for dinner. It was a great evening. No, honestly, very relaxed, very chatty. Oh, the food, oh my God, just exquisite, sublime. I'm ashamed to say I had never sampled Javier's talents until then. I was actually enjoying myself. I know. My parents were in very good spirits. They thought Jav was nothing short of amazing. And it was more than evident to me by the way they kept side glancing to one another and subtly nodding that they thought finally their daughter had not just found a boyfriend, but a jolly decent one too. I didn't have the heart to tell them Jav's actual boyfriend would be home later that evening. What they didn't know wouldn't hurt them, and they left happy, which was the main objective. So I begin clearing up the table, and Jav even helps on that front too, which was when I started to feel rather guilty about everything he'd done for me that day. So I insisted we stop there. We let our hair down. We deserved it. You know, I don't know. I was in such a good mood. Yes, I was lightheaded from the alcohol, but in a fun way, not the usual heavy, tired one. I don't know. I felt like I was 21 again, utterly carefree and reckless. I didn't want the evening to end, so just imagine, I grab a half-finished bottle of something or other off the table, top up my glass, and go off to turn up the volume because I was going to party. Oh, there is something to be said about that infectious energy, and I was soaking it all in through my every pore, devouring it all, allowing it to pulsate through that life force, yes, transcending the conventional. And on it went, that pure energy, rippling through the negative space in search of its next receptor. Xavier. Through him it went. And I watched him. I watched him dance, sing, close his eyes. Through him it went. I saw it. I saw him open his eyes and smile. It was an inexplicable mutual appreciation that I didn't want my scientific head analysing. So I had an idea. I quickly nipped upstairs and back down to the kitchen where I prepared a few lines of cocaine. I knew Xav would be fine with all that, for heaven's sake. Nick was his boyfriend, who was always justifying his insatiable appetite for such things. Nothing was off limits for Nick as far as I could tell. Anyway, I offered to Xav and he declined, which took me back a little, to be perfectly honest. I clearly had not hid my reaction because Xavier laughed, came over to me, said, "Be my guest." He gave me a hug. He kissed... Oof, cliff edge. He kissed me, he drank, I dabbled, and then I began laughing again. He joined in and we danced some more. Later, Xav explained to me why he had declined. I was astonished to find out he'd been diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, an enlarged heart, and had never taken drugs of any kind whatsoever for fear of triggering off the real beast, i.e. the actual underlying condition that the doctors were still trying to ascertain. Xav was living with the symptom without knowing what was the cause. He was also living with Nick, which is why I naturally assumed an easy mistake to make. Needless to say, the party animal in me had been tamed. I needed a shower. It was a spontaneous thing. I was still processing narcotics, remember. I went upstairs, came back down, hair all wet, just in my dressing gown. I don't know why exactly. I guess just to say goodnight to Xav and thank you. Either way, as I approached him, he was uncontrollably sobbing. His dark eyes all glistening, looking up at me. The pain. Oh my God, the pain. I could read it all. We didn't say anything, we just communicated with our gaze. Clear, crisp, untarnished by words. Eventually I whispered, "It's going to be okay." And I held out my hands, and as he took them, he stood up and we hugged and I squeezed and squeezed him to let him know that he was safe. Then we just held hands for a little while and he looked at me and nodded. And I kissed his hands and nodded back. Went up to bed. Xavier followed soon afterwards, the poor confused creature. At some point in the late early hours, I don't know when, I heard Nick come in. I didn't get up. I just listened to the noises downstairs. I didn't get up when I heard raised voices from their room across the landing. Nor did I when I heard the front door close. The light was starting to ever so slightly penetrate the room and introduce familiar forms that I just didn't want to see. So I closed my eyes and focused on the muted sounds of the birds starting their day, which at some point was suddenly substituted by the ringing of the phone. That's when I got up. That's when I discovered Xav was in hospital, in a coma. That's when I noticed there was no cocaine left on the counter. That's when I knew I'd lied. It wasn't okay. I wasn't there for him when he needed me. I didn't get up.
I
am so sorry I'm late. Damn. Can we just blame the traffic? Yeah? Really? Okay. Thank you. I love a good start, you know? Have they offered you anything? Coffee, a donut? You know, the donuts really aren't as bad as they seem. It's just a stereotype. No, you're okay? Okay. Then I guess let's jump into the fun part. For the record, please state your name, age, and residence. Okay, and my file reads, and I quote, arrested for vandalism and pickpocketing. Ugh. No? You did nothing. Then why are we here? We should be stuffing our faces with a pile of donuts, don't you think? Donuts, you get it because... Oh, don't worry about that. It's just a joke. I try to keep my clients, suspects, as comfortable as is allowed. So let's get back into this. You were saying, hey. Okay, take a breath, calm down, and breathe, okay? How does such a sweet son of a bitch... You wanted me to say the B word, didn't you? No, I just got you there. No. As I said, just breathe and let me know what happened. Okay. Yikes, okay. What, me? Oh, no, don't worry, I'm just writing for the records. I mean, I thought you said you did nothing. Why would you be concerned about being in the records? Oh, okay, because you're already in the records. And for a crime you didn't commit. Yeah, we get the point. But how about we ask maybe a different set of questions, like, I don't know, how old are you? How would I know that? No, you don't get it. No, you don't understand. Shh. No, in here I'm not associated with the fact that... Will you shut up? I'm sorry. I tend to overdo at times, okay? How about we just pretend that never happened and you can just tell me where you were on the night of 5th June? Okay, so you were at the mall. And what about your father? Where was he? He was at home. Okay. So, what time would you say your father got home? No, I'm asking about your father, not you. No, you don't understand. This is all a part of the investigation. Okay. Listen, kid, I'm trying to help you, okay? How do I put this lightly? I know you're guilty, okay? I mean, come on, you're a 17-year-old kid who doesn't get to see his mother or his father as much as he should. And then on top of that, you're in public school and hooked on weed. I mean, come on. This crime literally reeks of you, okay? So how about you just give me the information you have on your father, because I know you have it. Because if you don't, I will turn this room into purgatory. And you don't want that, because that's my safe space, okay? I will rape your inner thoughts while eating a sandwich, and I won't give a damn about your state of mind. Do you understand? Now, do not lie to me. Where was your father, and what time did he get home? Was that so hard? Don't you just even love a good investigation? Wow. Okay. So thank you for that. So we've made it clear that you were not at the scene of the crime and your alibis check out. Is that correct? Okay. So all I need now is for you to sign this statement of your whereabouts. So you just sign there and there. Thank you very much. Okay. So I'm sorry to let you know, young man, but you're under arrest for vandalism and pickpocketing. Frank, take him away. Hey, Tony. I've arrested our son. And you're next.
Eventually, it was decided by Stalin that I should go to America. to fight the ideological war, to convince the United States to open a second front and support us in our fight against the fascists. The Americans were generally kind and friendly, but the newspapers asked me stupid questions about my hair and makeup. I grew frustrated at the lack of respect for a female soldier and their obsession with the unimportant details of my wardrobe. I did my duty for Comrade Stalin. Spoke English, stayed at the White House, and befriended the president's wife. I met film stars and singers, businessmen. It was my duty, and is perhaps another different story in itself. On my return, I taught at the Red Army Sniper School. I was now responsible for teaching the new ones, those young boys and girls, to hide and wait, and aim and shoot, and kill. I often think of that girl Maria and the promise that I made. And sometimes at night, when the pain of my old injuries keeps me awake, I ask myself, did I do enough? And I don't know. When the Soviet Union was invaded in 1941, we weren't ready. We weren't prepared for war. To turn the tide, they placed rifles in the unblistered hands of women and sent us to the meat grinder too. But we were just girls. Tender young flowers. How could we drive Hitler from our home using rifles made in Tula Arsenal in 1917? But we did. We found the strength within ourselves and our common purpose to drive the sausage-eating fascists from our home. Some say that I was a myth, that I never existed. They say that a woman could not kill 309 men. A lot of that talk comes from inside my own country, inside of the Red Army. It's the shame, you see. My country had to turn to women to save it from the Nazis. Weak women. Teachers, nurses, mothers, wives came to our rescue. After the war ended, we were expected to just go back to our ordinary domestic lives. But we were not welcome. Women spat at us. Oh, what possible reason could we have to go to war other than to fuck their husbands? And the men at home didn't want to marry rough soldiers. They wanted quiet, obedient beauties. They wanted us to give up the strength and independence that we had earned and become weak flowers once again. But many of us couldn't. wouldn't. I was not a myth. And I was not a flower. I was never a flower. They call me Lady Death. But I am a sniper. And I am proud.
You know, I had better times before I came here. I used to live with my husband in our house near a jail. My husband was the prison warden. He was a gambler. I used to visit him lots. He liked playing cards and drink lots and go for hunting often. But I used to visit him and see the prisoners that I loved and I cared as much as I could. You know, the people in that small town were all busy with themselves. They didn't visit anybody, and I didn't visit them either. So I have lots of free time, which I like to save for the prisoners. They all loved me. And I love to care for them. Really, I assure you. In the beginning, though, it was very hard. They were strange, kept to themselves. But when they came to know me better, they opened up. And I saw they were the most innocent, beautiful, and peaceful people. I couldn't believe it, that these people were murderers or thieves, or maybe they have committed another crime. So one day I went and I asked one of them, who was a murderer, "Why did they bring you here?" "I killed Yelena Nikolaevna. I really did," he said. "There is nothing to be done now." There is nothing to be done now. I look at him. And it seemed to me that this murderer was carrying the guilt of somebody else's crime, that he himself was the stone that another hand had thrown. He was right. There is nothing to be done. I kept visiting them. And I brought books for them, board games and cards, and I make sure they have them in every cell. Sometimes I could bring them tobacco and a little wine, just a little. You should see how much they thanked me for that. They were fun. When they take a break, they come in groups and they find balls, or they make them, and they start kicking them, tossing them, running after one another, just like little children. They really had fun. And they liked it. They like being there. They also liked when I read them books. Yeah. So they were all quiet and listening. And when the story was funny, they listened quietly. And when the story was at its end, they burst with laughter all of a sudden. Remember that? That was very interesting. Sometimes they liked. I found out that they like bright colored clothes. So, because one day they saw me dressed with bright colors and you should see how many compliments they gave me. So I went and I bought dresses that they had striking colors. And then I make sure I wear them when I visited them. They were fun. And I remember once I went to the market and they were selling birds, singing birds in cages. So I ended up buying them one bird for every sale. You should see how much they care for those birds and how much they loved them. Almost as much as they loved me. They were my friends. They gave a purpose to my life and a reason to be. But it didn't last long. 3 years went by just like that. Until one day, I remember it just like this moment now. I remember it. Somebody came and said to me, "Your husband." What, my husband? "Your husband, Yelena Nikolaevna, fell down from the horse and died." What? How? How could this happen? He was drunk. He was drunk. I froze. He was drunk. I started crying. I couldn't stop crying. My heart was broken. I was sad, not only for him, but for the prisoners that I will not see again. What a pity. And somebody told me that they were sad too. I still remember them. They were good people. What a pity. And now I live here in this city. The city is boring. I rent a room in this house. My room is good. But this house, something is bad here. Oh, no, the people. The people are good. But this house, there is something that overwhelms with sadness, that suffocates, that depresses me. I feel low. I feel depressed right now. Look, now that you and I share stories in that other room, a person may be dying. And do you really think we feel sorry? No, We don't. We don't feel sorry. I know it's not right. I know it's not good not to feel sorry, but we lost it. We lost the ability to feel sorry for anybody.
Mum, please, it's okay. I'll explain it. Okay, so what happened was we were in the same aisle as this kid and he wanted these roll-ups, fruit roll-ups. But his mother was being a hard ass about it, saying that she wasn't going to buy them for him. And it wasn't because she couldn't afford it, because you could tell that she had money. But the kid was getting whiny about it, which makes sense because he's 5 years old and he really wants these roll-ups. But the mother wouldn't give in. In fact, she starts ignoring him completely, just turns her face away and pretends he's not there, just goes about her shopping like that's gonna shut him up or teach him a lesson or something. Case closed sort of thing. But that gets the kid even more upset. So that pissed me off for some reason. The way she was ignoring him instead of trying to explain to him why he couldn't have them. So I walked over to her. I don't know why, I just did. And I said, "It's only $3. Why don't you just get him the fucking roll-ups?" She looked a little miffed, but she smiled a little. I don't know why. And then she explained to me that she didn't want her son eating candy. And I said, well, it's not actually candy. In fact, fruit roll-ups are relatively healthy and they're made with real fruit. And why not just get him a treat? Well, she told me to mind my own business, and then she tried to move her trolley around me, but she ran over my foot by accident. So I smacked her. Yeah. I smacked her. I know, it's awful. And then the little boy started to cry. I felt terrible. But she was ignoring him. I just wanted to shake her. Like, look at him. Don't pretend he's not there. But I didn't say that. I just stood there, kind of startled. And she was kind of startled. And then Mum comes over to me and tells me to go out to the car, which I did not need her to do. So then Mum talks to her. She didn't understand, Mum, and I'm sure you just made it seem like I was some crazy person, some unstable... You know, she is lucky that that's all I did, slapping her. Not that it helped. Not that she's going to suddenly realise. I mean, it was a fruit roll-up. Just let him have it. Am I wrong? doing well too, wasn't I, Howie? Had a bunch of good days in a row. Can't do the shopping anymore, Howie. It's just too much. Everything there reminds me of him. Everything. The mandarins, the apples, the bananas, the Milo, the bread, his bread. Just everything. It's too much.
Hey babe, tell me what you wanna be. Float your mind and listen to the bass. Rocking to the levels, you're so fortunate free. Looking up and arise in me.
Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the endurance performances. We have a few more things just to chat about before I say goodnight. You guys get to vote. You, our viewers, you will have 48 hours from the end of this broadcast to select your 2 favorite performers. And we also have judges who are part of the event tonight and for all of the other global final shows. The judges and the viewers, we basically add up their votes, and we will be announcing the top 3 for each category on Wednesday, the 24th of November. So I'm going to just make a change to the description of this video to include a link to a voting form. Let me just make that change right now. Great, that's done. So if you're watching live, you're just going to have to refresh the screen. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the link. If you're watching later, it should already be there. Just hit the show more button to see the description of the video, or the little down arrow at the bottom right of your screen. And that's where you can find the link. Now, we also had the sprint category that was on just before this show. And last night we had the Tigers event. Voting is still open for those shows as well. So if you enjoyed endurance, check them out and throw a vote across to your favorite 2 performers. What else can I say? Just a shout out to our sponsors, Nyakachana and Arts Business Academy. Check out in the description of the video, there's links to those guys' work. Next week we have the main amateur category, the youth category, and the main professional category. So there is one more weekend of global finals at World Monologue Games this year. It's lovely to have you with us. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.